No, let's do that again. Stop it.
No, we don't have to stop it. Let's just keep going.
Charlie. Cut this out. Cut this out. Go sit down.
Hey guys, welcome back to Plots with a Twist,
where we discuss books
amongst other things. And today we're going to be giving some tips on how to curate and how we curate our book list. So let's get into it. All right, so we just wrote down some notes on just kind of things that have helped us over the years create a book list. Because it seems simple, but I get this question a lot. Asia gets this question a lot. And it's basically, you know, ties
how do you read so much, or how do you know what to read?
Right.
And like, girl, just read.
and we kind of have to remind ourselves it is something that we struggled with at one point in time. That when we weren't reading regularly, it was kind of like, you know, creating a list of what to read and actually deciding what to read was kind of difficult. So we wanted to give some tips for you guys in case you struggle with the same
struggling. Because we do have a book club on our own, like that we have with like a couple other people, and for the most part, me and Kristen pick the books that we're gonna read. Of course, we take suggestions, but this is how we kind of like go about creating our list, like what we're gonna read for the year.
Yes. So, Asia, go first.
So, the first tip that I have is to pick books or look at authors that you've already read and enjoyed, like enjoyed some of their work. Look and see what other books that they have. A lot of the time, this has happened multiple times with me and Kristen. We'll just read a book, pick a book for whatever reason, and we will go, and if we really enjoy it, for example, A Man Called Uwe. We had read that book and loved it so much. We went back and looked up Frederick Bachman, whatever his name is, and found that he had a bunch of a bunch of other books. So we were like, oh, okay, let's try to include like some of these other things. So if you find an author that you enjoy their writing style, you just enjoy the book overall, look and see what other work they have. That's like the easiest start to me.
Okay, along those same lines with like sticking to authors you know you've enjoyed before, you can kind of stick to genres you know you've enjoyed before. Or even if you haven't really read that many books and you're picking up books as an interest, you can look at just like different types of like genres you know you like from like based off TV shows, maybe movies, something like that, maybe even podcasts. So like for instance, if you're going podcasts, and I know I listen to a true crime podcast, so you can possibly start with books that are leaning towards true crime to see if those spark your interest. Or if you like sci-fi, they have, you know, sci-fi books. If you like fantasy, even if you like a good romance, you can kind of tailor those interests and translate that to book form.
Tip number 2. So, look at book lists. Is that what you just saying? Understand? Okay, so look at book lists. For a lot of the time, Kristen and I both, we will go on Pinterest. Pinterest is like for everything. You go on Pinterest for everything. But Pinterest has a lot of lists circulating about what's popular, and even like it'll be like lists like books, top 10 books that you just won't be able to put down, top 10 suspense books, like just like things like that. So Pinterest is a good place to go, or even like Goodreads. Go on Goodreads and look for different suggestions and lists that they have. Look and see what's out and and that's a good way to see like what's new, what's out, what's popular right now that people are really enjoying.
Yeah.
Another tip is to, when you're trying to like kind of expand what you want to read, look outside of genres that you normally read, because you never know what you might be interested in until you actually go to read it. I personally don't really care for science fiction or like fantasy. I don't. But there's been some books that have been suggested to me that I've read that I'm like, that are science fiction or whatever, and I have really enjoyed. Now for me, if there's too much like science jargon and stuff in it, I don't want to read that. Like, I don't want to have to be looking up words every time like I'm going through reading Yeah, I'm not into that. But I've read a couple of books, mostly that Kristen have suggested that were like science fiction based or fantasy based, that I really enjoyed.
But another good tip is to also maybe start with like a series book. I mentioned starting with Harry Potter to spark my interest in reading because I knew it was something I like, but I also knew it had 7 books. So I knew I would at least get 7 books under my belt. So that was like a way I didn't have to guess my next book because I was going to go ahead and try to just read one after the other. So that kind of helps if you just start with a series book.
And that keeps your momentum going too when there's like more than one book, especially if you enjoy the first one, you're like, oh, I can't wait to read the next one, see what happens.
Right.
Like it'll help you like just keep going.
Because ultimately reading is about building confidence and it's a habit. So if you kind of stick to something where it's an ongoing story, it kind of helps you want to seek out other books.
Yeah. And don't feel pressure to like read stuff just because it's like we said earlier, like it's popular, or just because I ain't reading Harry Potter, y'all. I ain't reading that
Yes, you are.
but just like read things that you like.
I would say for just trying to decide what to read, it's okay to judge a book by its cover because ultimately that might lead you to something that either you'll enjoy or you might have not read otherwise. Because a lot of times they tell you, oh, it's a pretty cover, you want to make sure. But no, it's like if that's going to be something that I'm going to buy and put on my shelf, or it's going to be something that I'm going to keep looking at, it's going to draw my attention for whatever reason, that's something you could just go ahead and add to your list. And that way, when someone asks you, you know, oh, what are you reading next? And it's like this random book, you sound interesting a little bit.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it has a pretty cover. Also, keep a physical list. So a lot of times when you're curating a list, you can kind of put it in your mind that I want to read this next or whatever. But it's always good to kind of keep a physical list because a lot of times you never know when you're going to get these books. You never know when you're going to be in close proximity of these books. So it's good to kind of go ahead and have a list on hand. That way, when you are intentionally setting out to create a list, you can already have something to reference. So, for instance, we have our 2020 to be read. Some of it is stuff that we've had, like we've mentioned, had on our list for years.
Yeah.
But we were able to pull some of those because we have a physical list of these books. So it helps to kind of keep something where you can kind of reference if you're trying to pick what to read next.
Yeah.
Just keep a collection, accumulation of all the tips. Just keep a collection
of books that you want to read or you've heard about and you want to read. Because a lot of time, like, I have, since people know that I read a lot, people suggest stuff to me all the time. So, and I'll either write it in like my notes in my in my phone, or I'll like screenshot it or something, like the book, and I'll just I just like have like in my phone I have pictures of just like books like that I want to, like, I know I'm gonna read eventually. So yeah, that's a good tip.
So ask for suggestions as well. That's a great way to decide what to read next because reading can sometimes be great in community, which leads to another tip: join a book club.
Yes.
I don't think I would have been reading nearly as much as I do if we didn't kind of connect and try to make it a kind of community that we can kind of discuss what's going on. So same with your shows or your movies. Sometimes you just want to have a conversation about it.
Yeah, you want to be able to talk to somebody about it. And I think for us, both of us, like, I'm not gonna say I don't have a lot of friends that read, but a lot of my friends. I got like 5, but a lot of my friends don't like really read the stuff that I read. So it's nice to have somebody else, like, to create a book club, to have like, because you read something, you want to discuss it, and there's like online book clubs, like you can connect with people virtually. I'm pretty sure if you go on Meetup.com, you can find some book clubs in your.
Who's doing all that?
And people do. If you really want to connect with people to read, and you want to find people that are reading the same things that you are.
And then a lot of time they'll have the book already laid out, so you don't really have to put too much brain power towards what you're reading next because they already have the suggestions. So it helps and it gives you motivation to finish the book.
Because somebody's gonna be holding you accountable. Like, did you read the book?
And our best suggestion is follow us.
Yes, follow us because we know all the good books. No, I'm just kidding.
We don't know all the
But for
good
the most
books,
part.
but I think we've been doing pretty well of giving, like, trying to read a variety of books, trying to read things in
I
different
will say
genres.
that about us. We read a lot of different books. Like, I feel like we have a good variation of like genres, authors, and just like a diverse like mix of like books we want to read.
I think part of it was also just exploring and dipping our toe into other things that you may not realize you would like otherwise. So,
because Kristen will suggest stuff, and I'm like, girl, I don't want to read that, but then I'll read it.
same here. I'd be like, this is too thought provoking. I'm
She be wanting to read YA all day.
First of all, no, I don't. I just be want to read a good story, but she be want to read these kind of like thought provoking.
Cause
I know why
smart.
the cage bird
No, I'm just
sings.
playing.
So, I mean, those are cool.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. We have a good mix, like, cause you don't want to like just be reading all the like James Baldwin, Toni Morrison, and it's just like, oh, it's so heavy, and then you know,
I mean,
just
you'll
get
feel
kinda,
smart, but you feel like
not even smart, but you just feel sometimes, you know, depending on like a movie. Sometimes a heavy movie would just make you feel like,
carry
oh,
it
God,
with you.
yeah.
All right, so that's pretty much it. We just
Those
wanted
are
to
our
give you
tips,
some
yeah.
quick tips on how we kind of create book lists,
Yes.
what some suggestions to help you create a book list, some suggestions to even help you read more.
And let us know in the comments like what some tips that you guys may have, like how you guys curate your book list and decide what you're gonna read for for your year. Or
I'm just looking for a comment that says, "We let you tell us."
Girl,
I mean, I don't know if we have enough content for y'all to really say that, but
girl, y'all
we're working
suggested
on
3
it.
books. Right, we have plenty more coming. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video.
Like, comment, subscribe.
All that.
And until next time, bye guys.
Bye.